Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
Hello, everyone. As far as hockey goes, that was certainly that. My name is Kaja May, and welcome to Game Over Vancouver. The Vancouver Canucks, just lost to the Winnipeg Jets, 5-1. We really like losing to teams 5-1 this year, I've noticed. Like Florida, Washington, now the Jets, Buffalo during the home opener. Yeah, it just seems to be a trend. Alright, just before I start off here, think you know what way it's gonna go? Make your bet with Sports Interaction. Whether it's World Cup, hockey, football, or basketball, Sports Interaction has you covered. Bet pregame, live in play, or on one of our many prop bets. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Join now to see all sports betting has to offer. Want to bet? Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. 19 plus, please play responsibly. Alright, so, that was certainly a game. Is Kaja doing okay? Yeah, I'm doing okay. I don't know. I finished finals. I feel like that's pretty good. Also, my hockey team's bad, but that's, yeah. That was a hockey game that happened. Good job to both competitors on hockeying. The better hockeyer won. That is basically what happened, yes. The Winnipeg Jets, pretty much the best team in the West right now. Like, I know Vegas is, like, Vegas, but they were losing the Islanders, like, a few minutes ago, so whatever. I think they're still losing, I don't know. They showed it during the second intermission. But yeah, Winnipeg is definitely one of the better teams in the West this year, and that rang true for the Canucks, who are also missing, we're obviously missing our starting goaltender in Thatcher Demko. We'll be missing him probably into the new year as well. But also Brock Besser and Elias Pettersson, both having some non-COVID illness. I'm assuming it's the flu, because it's, like, super bad this year. I don't know if you could tell, but I'm like, kind of getting over, like, a cold kind of thing, too. So, like, I understand it. It's not fun, but yeah, it certainly was a different kind of game with those two not playing, especially Pettersson. People have noticed that the Canucks just did not have the same offense that they normally do without him, especially because they had to make some interesting tweaks to the lineup. They brought up Lane Peterson from Abbotsford, who we got in the Ethan Bear trade from Carolina. And he's been absolutely on fire for the Abbotsford Canucks. He's been great for them. And yeah, they called him up. They put him on the third line center. And they put Miller back on center, as the center on Petey's line. Yeah, that was an interesting choice as well, putting Miller on that line. But, to each their own. I'm not Bruce Boudreau, obviously. I have hair. Yeah, it was not a good game for the Canucks, but I know excuses, but also we're kind of missing, like, our best player. The one guy who's apparently untouchable. So kind of makes sense that we're not playing the greatest. I wasn't expecting, for us to score, honestly. Watching the first, I was just like, oh, okay, well, I guess this is happening. Yeah. I thought Garland taking Pettersson's spot on the first power play unit was a choice. I don't know. I just felt like he might have not been the best choice in that situation, but, like, there were other players that could have slotted into that. Like, they were testing Joshua on power play 1 the other night. I feel like he could have slotted in. Jets are missing some key players too. Yeah, well, the Jets have more good players than the Canucks do. Like, yeah, you're missing Wheeler and you're missing Nikolai Ehlers. But you still have Mark Scheifele, you still have Pierre-Luc Dubois, you still have Morrissey Connor. I'm just naming players that I know. You also have Connor Hellebuck, who, for one, is your starter, and two, is pretty much, like, the current, at the moment, Vezina winner. Because he's insane. He's at the first or in the top 3 for pretty much every goaltending statistic in the NHL. Absolutely insane. And also one thing I definitely noticed from the Jets is, yeah, the Canucks, they ended up catching up with the shots, but halfway through the first, most of the way through the first, they had one shot on goal while the Jets had 10. That's not a normal thing, because the thing is, if it's a block shot, it doesn't count as a shot on goal, obviously, right? Because it's not on goal, it's on somebody's leg. There were a lot of shot blocks from the Jets. Whereas for the Canucks, it was kind of just like, yeah, there were screens, but that's like the opposite of what you want to do. Like, you're screening the goalie, but the shot isn't going off of you. That's just not. Who do you think is the best goalie in the league? I still think it's either Vasilevsky or Shesterkin still, but Hellebuck is he's definitely top 5. I'd say top 3 right now, but yeah, top 3 right now. Overall, for the last few years, he's definitely top 5. Just the Jets just didn't have it last year, but they've been pretty solid on the West for a while. Yeah, the Jets are a good team. They've won before this game. Out of 29 games, they won 19. Like, that's insane to think about, considering some other teams, Anaheim Ducks, they have 3 regulation wins, whereas the Jets have 19 wins overall. Yeah, I don't know. I liked Peterson getting into the lineup, considering, he's like basically another Shen brother. I liked the tidbit on Hockey Night in Canada. They're like, he's been dating Shen's sister since the 9th grade, and I'm like, we need to know this? But I don't know. It's nice. It's nice. Peterson lighting it up at Abbotsford. Good for him for getting the call up. Lane Train made it to Vancouver. But yeah. Myers gets a penalty for existing. Kyle Connor scores, obviously. I don't love his hair. I'm gonna be honest. Like, people compliment his hair. I was like, I don't get it. I don't get the hair. Anyway, yeah. Then there's no more other goals for the first, and I was like, okay, you know what? Low event hockey. Not gonna happen. Not a lot of things are gonna happen. There was a couple chances that they had, especially on the second power play. Miller's like right at the net, misses the Kuzmenko pass, which like it wasn't like it went into his skates. Like, it's not really a direct pass, but still. And then Peterson does the Miller signature, just kind of back passes instead of, shooting. I noticed it a lot. Maybe it was like first game jitters and everything for, new team. But yeah, he was not shooting as much as he was passing. He was trying to pass, but then it would turn into a giveaway. Just wasn't a great situation. I understand if you're nervous for your first game. I get nervous. Like, everyone gets nervous, but it's a bit different when it's like, a class presentation in front of 18 people versus the National Hockey League. Yeah. OEL and Myers had a few good shots. Bear did too. Luke Shen always throwing his body out there. But yeah, there are a lot of block shots by the Jets. The Capo Bianco, what a fun name. Canucks lost face-off. Mega screen in front of Martin. They score. Martin couldn't find the Pionk shot. Score. The puck goes right past Bo Horvat, and I understand he might not want to block the shot, considering that's how he broke his foot last year. But still, it's just went squeak, and yeah, did not go through. Well, yeah, OEL got a roughing call. I find that really funny, considering it's OEL. Sam Gagner scores, because of course, ex-Canucks always score. We're basically the Western Leafs. Well, not really the Western Leafs. Similar cup drought, but we have the thing where, former players always score. And it's kind of funny because Jordy Ben, former Canucks, scored on us while he was on the Leafs. I was there for that goal. It was not fun sitting there at Scotiabank Arena. Yeah, because of course it was a weird angle shot. And then I'm trying to say this, Janssen Fialbi. They have a lot of wicked names on the Jets. It was a really bad change. No one was on him. No one caught up to him. He just kind of went into the Vancouver zone and scored because Vancouver players were all over by the bench, and that was not where, they needed to be in order to block. And then Bo Horvat tips in the power play goal. Yeah. That was insane. It was like 3 minutes left. And I have like this tactic anytime we're losing and, it's a shutout for the other team. I just tweet shutout for the amount of goals that the other team has with their team hashtag. And then that usually works. And it worked. It has worked for every game except for the Minnesota game. And even, like, the Canadiens game where we were losing 4-0. Like, I thought about tweeting that. And then they scored. So, like, that's kind of... We were so in sync there. It was so crazy. Yeah. The Jets sound like they're made of fake human names an alien would come up with. Yeah, that's kind of true. That is a little... I don't want to say fake human names, because, like, my name sounds like a fake human name. But at the same time, why is Shifley spelt like that? I don't get it. Why is it spelt like that? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it was a bad change on the 5th goal. But then Horvat scores his 22nd of the year. And it's really funny that, a year ago, people would have been thinking, like, oh, you want to give Miller and Horvat the same contract? That's so stupid. Now it's the same conversation, but it's kind of flipped on its head because now Horvat's worth more than that. Because people were like, oh my god, Miller's just a superstar, and then Jesus. Yeah. Just to remind everyone, like, comment, subscribe, join us in the chat, rate and review if you're listening to this on a podcast platform. I'm gonna move my mic. Sorry, I just realized it was kind of like over here, so I had to like turn. It's not the greatest situation. I'm gonna turn now. Hello. Yeah. There were definitely some situations where the Canucks could have done better in this game, but also they're kind of dealt a bad hand. You're missing your best player. You're missing kind of 2 of your guys who have been offensive rocks for you. Like, offensive rocks. I'm not saying defensive. Pete has kind of been talked about in that conversation. Then he wasn't talked about in that conversation because he went like -5 in one game. Yeah. Anyway, you're missing 2 of your core guys. Plus your starting goaltender. I feel like that's gonna mess with you a little bit. And also they didn't play Kyle Burrows, so obviously they were gonna lose, and obviously they like hacked in to our system and saw that I was hosting Game Over, so of course they were gonna lose. I've covered 2 wins the entire season. Like that's like Winnipeg, Anaheim has more regulation wins now. Yeah, there were a couple of goals where I'm like, Martin could have had that, but also there was like nobody on the guy, so yeah. And also Martin is like paid and supposed to be our backup. I understand injuries happen, but man, they're not doing us very well this game. It was certainly a game of hockey. I just want to address something really quickly. So as Steve Dangle said on Twitter, but right before it happened, by the way, and I thought my stream was just behind, but no, apparently he tweeted that before it happened, that it was a jersey throwing game. Now, I understand being disappointed in your team. I understand that. Like, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. Like, that kind of vibe. I understand being disappointed. And I understand, to a point, throwing your jersey on the ice, but the rate that it has happened this year just does not make sense to me. I understand, like, they were not giving great effort throughout the game. At a home game, you would think that, players would give more of a shit during a home game. But no. They just kind of floated through. Not really a care in the world. And this has happened. This is kind of going back to what happened last season, where it was the Canucks don't wake up on time during games. This was an issue during the Green era, after the Green era, so we can't exactly claim that Bruce Boudreau saved them on this. But yeah, they just don't wake up on time. They didn't have any effort. Like, yeah, they had effort in little short bursts, but it wasn't a lot. And I understand being mad about that. I understand being disappointed about that. I don't understand throwing a jersey on the ice. Like, during the game. Also, after they just scored. I understand it's 5-1. Like, that one goal probably doesn't make a lot of a difference in the outcome of this game. And evidently it did not. But they scored. They scored a goal. They're not every hockey game is going to be perfect, and the Canucks aren't going to win the Stanley Cup this year. I'm sorry to break it to you, but also, they're not the worst team in the league. If you haven't realized, they're in the middle of the pack, but that doesn't mean they're terrible. Just, you can have a few bad games. You can have a few bad turnovers. You can have a couple bad penalties. It's hockey. Things are going to go not perfectly, and that's okay. It is a game played on a sheet of frozen water with men with knife shoes try and shoot a little round rubber thing into a, like, I don't know the dimensions of the net, but it's a net, right? And there's a man with pillows. This game makes no sense. Why are you that mad about it? I understand. It's a passionate thing. You have to have that passion. But the jersey thrown on the ice, they just scored. They just scored. Have some faith. For once in your life, that something will not... Just grow up. Grow up. You're throwing a temper tantrum, and you're like a grown adult. You're a grown adult. You're throwing a temper tantrum because your team can't score 5 goals on the probably Vezina winner this year. I understand you live in a bubble where you think the Canucks are going to be perfect, and then when they're not, it's horrifically disappointing. But, duh. And just because they have one game doesn't mean they're tanking. That's not a thing. People want so badly to tank this team, and it's just like, there are more better options than just intentionally losing the entire season. Yes, Connor Bedard, he seems like a great player. He's not going to end up with us, like I have mentioned 3 or 4 times throughout this broadcast. The Anaheim Ducks have 3 regulation wins. 2 of them this week. They went into December with 1 regulation win so far in the season. There's no way we are getting Connor Bedard. I don't care if you think we should, because you're wrong. And yeah, grow up. Don't throw your jersey on the ice. If you're that mad at the team, yeah, donate the thing. Donate it for somebody who would actually, like it. They're not near the top. Yes, that is true. They're not near the top, but that doesn't mean that they're horrifically terrible. Like, a hockey season is like a roller coaster. There are ups and downs, and by the end, you kind of want to cry, or you want to throw up. It's a weird sport. It's a weird team. It's a weird year. It's a weird thing to throw a jersey on the ice. And also, aren't you cold? It's raining right now. It's supposed to snow tonight. Man, you are not planning well for your commute home, let me tell you. I don't care if you're taking the SkyTrain. Like that, you're gonna get cold. You're gonna get cold. Like, that's on you. That's karma. That's you. But yeah, just grow up. That's just my thought. And like, booing the team, I understand. You paid money to see the Vancouver Canucks play the Winnipeg Jets. I understand you want to see the Vancouver Canucks play well. And yeah, it's a little concerning that we're bad without Pettersson. But I don't know. I feel like there are better reactions to that. There could have been better reactions to that instead of taking off your jersey and throwing it on the ice. It was like a symbol of protest last year, especially, December 4th, 2021, throwing the jersey on the ice during the Penguins game. I understand that level of protest. There was a lot of ignoring the problems in this team for years. But with this, like, it's a new management team. I understand they've kind of done the same thing that the old management team was, but it's definitely a different spot than we were in with Benning. And I think they're still getting started. The Canucks are still getting started. We're not going to, I understand they had the whole our pursuit bullshit this year. They're not going to be perfect this year. They're not going to be perfect next year. They're probably not going to be perfect for a couple years. We're probably going to lose Bo Horvat. We're going to lose a few teams. But Winnipeg's a good team. We lost against a good team. It's not like the 5-1 loss against Washington, who was basically on the same level as us. Winnipeg is a better team than both the Alberta teams right now. The Edmonton Oilers that went to the Western Conference Final, they're a better team right now than the Avs. I understand the Avs are, like, horrific with injuries right now, but still. And plus, we're missing Pettersson. And yeah, it's concerning. It's concerning that we don't have Pettersson. And we play like this, but yeah. Apparently, Pettersson is our one untouchable, though. Like, even Hughes is he's not on the block, but, like, monster offer is what is, or mega offer, whatever the word they're using for it now. Yeah, it's certainly an interesting. It's a weird time to be a Vancouver Canucks fan. OEL contract is crippling. The Miller before Horvat extension. I honestly think the OEL contract is, like, yeah, it's not great, but it could be worse. Could be like the Darnell Nurse contract, but, you know, I have other thoughts. Miller before Horvat extension, that really, I think that's what screwed this team over. They were going into this season with this whole notion of we're gonna make the playoffs, all this other stuff, and then obviously it falls apart. I think part of it is due to the locker room not kind of understanding where the team's going. And also the Miller before Horvat conversation and extension, because I think signing this random guy who got 99 points, who's not really been a long-term fix for, you know, other good teams like New York and Tampa. Is the term not the AAV? I don't know. Still, like, feel like it could be worse. Yeah, I feel like that, like, is signing this random guy. Yes, he got 99 points, but yeah, not a long-term fix anywhere else. Instead of your captain, I think it's a pretty chicken shit move to do that. And I understand Bo Horvat has not had the same production. I understand Bo Horvat did not have the same production last year, but he is showing this year. Like, people talk about how Miller was this breakout star last year, but Bo Horvat has not reached the age that Miller was when he did that yet. Like, we also signed the guy that's older, and they talk about this team, oh, this team's so young, blah, blah, blah. Like, Luke Schen's the oldest player on our team. And also, I hope we re-sign him, honestly. Like, the two re-signings, I want them to get done, because I do think that, you know what? Bo Horvat deserves better, but I would love to see Horvat re-sign. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Pettersson, long-term, and Luke Schenn. I want Luke Schenn back. But yeah, I think they definitely screwed over. I feel like a lot of people were thinking Horvat got screwed over by management in this situation. All right. Just a reminder for everyone. Again, like, comment, subscribe, rate, review. You can follow SDPN Sports on Twitter, and I'm at RealKayame on Twitter. All right, I'm going to turn this next portion of the stream. I want to turn it on to you guys. It's coming, it's the holiday season. It's the holiday season right now. It's December. It's everyone's birthday, for goodness sake. Um, and also, it is coming up to, gift giving season, gift exchange season. What is your Christmas or holiday wish list? Whatever holiday you celebrate, what is your wish list, basically, from this team? Like, if you could ask Hockey Santa Claus, what you want from this front office. It could be a trade, it could be a signing, it could be just a coup against Francesco Aquilini. What do you want from this team? What do you think will be the New Year's resolution for the Canucks? Be better. Socks? Okay, yeah. No, you can ask for socks from the Canucks. I feel they do have some nice ones. I have a few pairs of Canucks socks, I will say that. They have ones that are, like, fluffy on the inside, and they have, like pads on the bottom, and I like the dots, like the dots on the bottom that, like, the grippy kind of things. Yeah, they do have those. I highly recommend those, actually. They're very warm, and when it got to, like, -10 at night in Vancouver for whatever reason, that Arctic polar flow or whatever, really helpful, because my feet get really cold. That would be Dobby's dream. Oh my gosh. Can I just say something completely off topic, not the Canucks at all? I do not like Dobby, and I don't like Yoda, and I feel like that's very controversial because they're basically the same character, but they're not the same character at the same time, because one's like a wise leadership guy, and the other is literally like a little elf dude. Yeah, I didn't care when Dobby died. I cheered, actually. Anyway, for Ryan Reynolds to buy the team, I think he's closer to buying the Sens, and that's, like, a little concerning. It's a little concerning. It's a little concerning that he's going to buy the Sens. But he said he's going to be, like, the worst hockey fan ever, and I'm like, there's a few people that can give him his run for his money. Make Johnny Canuck the primary logo. Do you mean, like, the reverse retro jersey type Johnny Canuck, or, like, what Abbotsford has right now? Because I do like the Johnny Canuck logo, but could be interesting. See, winning loads of games necessary to just stay in the West playoff race. I do, yeah. I could see, yeah. We could still technically make it. We did get eliminated until game 80 last year, and we had some bad games. If we do not make the playoffs again, this is going to be one of those games where it's highlighted, like, we should have won this in order to get into the playoffs. Like, there were various games last year. This is going to be one of those games if we don't make the playoffs, which, who knows what'll happen. Apparently Anaheim's on the rise, so, yeah. Wish list is for the Canucks to learn how to defend. Oh, God. I saw somebody mention earlier about what BX said. How BX said Hughes is more untouchable. PD wants a playoff team. Yeah. They screwed so many people over, man. This team is... It's a little painful. I'm not jersey throwing level of disappointed, but I'm disappointed. Yeah. 20 goals in the second half from Podkolzin. Yeah, if we call him back up, yeah. I did think it was weird that they called up Peterson and just put Drives on the wing instead of calling up Pods who had NHL experience, but I don't know. Could just be because, Lane's having an insane year in Abbotsford so far. Yeah, Canucks to learn how to defend. That would be great, especially on that 5-1, that 5-0 goal. Right. I don't know why they didn't pull Martin. I understand he's dealt some bad stuff, but come on. Delia won us the game against Montreal. Package Pedersen and Horvat. For what? McDavid? Like, Sheldon Dries to get more game time. Yeah, he's a decent third, like, bottom six player. I do like Sheldon Dries. He also was second in Abbotsford scoring last year. There's one. For ownership to sell the team, wouldn't we all? Play Colin Delia? Yeah. Call up Rathbone. Yes, I could see. I feel like they put him back down there because they had everyone come back from injuries. Also, where's Tanner Pearson? I thought he'd be okay by now because it was 4 to 6 weeks, right? Or 5 weeks or whatever the time limit was. But he should be back by now, shouldn't he? Shouldn't he? Can we have Tanner Pearson back? I feel like he might. Tanner Pearson will solve this situation. Yeah, I do like Sheldon Dries. Play Colin Delia. I do think Colin Delia could get the start on Monday. Correct? Monday. Because, am I blanking? Who are they playing on Monday? St. Louis. They're not really doing too hot right now. But that's also because their goaltending is an interesting situation. I could see Delia getting one of the starts, even though he's like our third stringer. I could see him getting a start in the next few weeks. Because it's, Seattle the 19th. No, St. Louis the 19th. Seattle the 22nd, 23rd in Edmonton, Christmas break. San Jose the 27th, and then we're back in Winnipeg. A month ago it was posted, yeah. Pearson, yeah, I don't know. He was at fault for a lot of minor penalties, as is Myers, but I don't know. I feel Tanner Pearson will solve this team. I say, completely serious. Yeah. We got a Tanner Pearson sign of life, though. Archer Seelovs should be called up for our back-to-back games next week. I don't know. I like him in Abbotsford. Yeah. Well, I mean, kudos to you, Lindsay. Good job hopping through all the chats. Yeah, I do believe it was about a month ago. It was early November when he got taken out for the hand injury. Yeah. St. Louis, I could see them putting Delia in. I could see them putting Delia in against St. Louis because they're not having a great offensive year. I think only one of their players, I think Jordan Kyrou, is the only one to hit double digits for goal scoring. So, not really, Binner versus Shen, who wins? Oh, Shen's gonna body him. Colin Delia, I don't want to say he probably will lose, because technically he did win for the Montreal game, but yeah. Shen would absolutely destroy Jordan Bennington. I mean, cheap shot. Dude, he cheap shot like Hoglander or something. Oh. Hopefully Jordan Bennington isn't listening so he doesn't get ideas, because yeah, I don't know. I don't like Jordan Bennington. Trade them off, free up the salary cap, and give Bo the contract he wants. Trade who? Trade who? Miller? I still believe we should have gotten the deal with New York last year where they wanted Hedel and everything. Heedle, Lundqvist, and like a first, I think it was. We should have gone for that one. Instead of, what we got. Be nice to stick a few goals past Binnington. He's such a clown. Yeah! To have fun, switch JT Miller to defense because that would equal a higher chance at Bedard. Dude! That's an oxymoron! Chital? I understand it's a weird thing to... Yeah. Ekman-Larsson? Who the hell is Ekman-Larsson? Myers, Pearson, Ekman-Larsson. Yeah, I don't know if we okay. I don't know if we get a lot of return for them. That's the thing. Um, Bitter would get rocked, then Little Shen would have to crumble and fight his brother. Oh God. I think we trade Connor Garland to make room for Kuzmenko long term. I could see that happening. Garland has not had the greatest season this year with the Canucks. Did I miss the scream? There was no scream, just disappointment. Trade OEL back to Arizona for Kenther. I don't think they'd love that idea. OEL doesn't have the right hair to fit into Mullet Arena. Choked on water. Yeah. We should have gone the Heedle deal. And that's also painful for me because I'm a Rangers fan too. So, like, not great. There was no scream. That just... No, do not say that. Don't... We have a Michael Scott in chat. Do not say that. Yeah. The Canucks, they're certainly an interesting team. They're certainly an interesting team. Yeah. I love, because I think Winnipeg has like a back-to-back, and I think they play in Seattle tomorrow. John Garrett was mentioning how Hellebuck can probably also play tomorrow night instead of David Riddick is his backup. We love Big Save Dave. He was saying how Hellebuck could probably play tonight, and or tomorrow. Hellebuck could probably play tomorrow night because he hasn't really been challenged in this game, and I was like, oh, shots fired. I'm gonna leave that in review, Liam, but that's funny. Wasn't Miller a Rangers player? He was, and then they traded him to Tampa, even though he was, like, in top 5 of their point scoring for the years he was on the team. And then Tampa didn't want him, even though he was also scoring points for them, and then they went and won 2 cups. I'm a Miller fan in denial. Whew. Personally, I think they should... I understand you're in a tough situation. Pettersson's injured, but maybe keep Miller on the right wing, because I think he likes it on the right. Anyway, yeah, Miller was the Rangers player, but there's a new Miller on the Rangers, and I like him more. Yeah, this team is why is this team pain was one of my notes. And it's not exactly pain. It's just, you kind of sit back and you're numb to it at this point. After, 20 years of it, you're just kind of sitting back and you're like, oh, okay, it's 5-0. Wonderful. There are some games where you're like, that's kind of deserved. Other games, you can be angry about it. This game, it's Winnipeg. They're one of the best teams in the West, like I said. We're missing some of our best guys. And the guys that are supposed to be the other best guys just aren't stepping up. So, I understand Horvat scored, but there were a couple of things tonight. You stop 100% of the high danger chances you don't attempt to stop JT Miller. What are your... Did Alvin say that? Because I know he was on After Hours. What are your thoughts for Hockey Night in Canada? What are your thoughts on Alvin saying the team isn't rebuilding or retooling, they're just building? What are you building? What are you building? That's not a situation. That's not a... What are you building? Boudreaux might want out. It was more than he gets the boot. Yeah. Oof. It's going to be hard next year to find a coach because so many coaches signed other places. Because I don't think Boudreaux would want to stay here. He said that in After Hours. Okay, thank you. I didn't have it on, obviously. But, yeah, they're just building. That's not a good answer. That's not... I also feel like people don't understand what rebuilding and retooling means. They're just building. What? My thoughts on Alvin saying they're just building. Building off of what? An almost playoff season? Trading Tyler Mott? Like, building what? a pool of disappointment? Back up the Brinks truck for Trotz? I mean, nicer weather out here than, in Winnipeg. We know what? We get a win. We get a win because you know what? We actually have an airport because Winnipeg doesn't have an airport, guys. I don't know if you know this, but it's like completely fake. I'm actually not sure Winnipeg exists, but for some reason they have a hockey team. Boudreau was man for the Wild. I don't know. I liked him last year. I think he's made some interesting things this year, but basically throwing up a smoke screen to try and buy more time out of desperation, not fooling anyone. Yeah. Trotz made the Islanders look good. That's so true. That's so true. But then he didn't get along with Barzal. Was Barzal just mad and then shaved his head? I don't know. Yeah. A building? Is he... I feel like Alvin's just saying he's building and then he's just going to abandon this team. Also Boudreau leaving and maybe wanting out. It's like a week away from, a year ago today or yesterday from Paul Maurice just leaving the Jets. Look how the Jets have gone in a year since then. They're one of the top teams in the West. He didn't really want to say the team is rebuilding. He just said building. He makes no sense. It's like he's building, but I feel like he's just gonna abandon it, like I abandoned all my Minecraft houses. That's a weird niche. I have abandoned a lot of Minecraft houses over the years. I get headaches when I play the game, okay? It makes sense. Alright. Any last words from anyone? That sounds morbid. Any last comments, questions, concerns about the Vancouver Canucks 5-1 loss to the Jets? Was mostly an uneventful game because I'm pretty sure the Canucks were asleep, even though they had so much rest time. They have had 3 games in the span of 10 days. That's a lot of break time in between. I understand they traveled to Calgary, but it's Calgary. The building probably like a block of Jenga. Yeah. It's an interesting situation. It's an interesting time to be a Canucks fan. Because they're in this weird limbo situation of we want them to be good, but we also want to get this generational superstar who's from Vancouver. But hey, the Coyotes didn't get Matthews, so whatever. See if it makes more sense. Okay, I will be checking out that after. He's building, you know what he should be building? He should be building better seats for Rogers Arena. That's how I'm gonna... And we got thrashed at home. That's kind of funny, because they were the Thrashers before. Yeah. The power play being abysmal tonight without Pettersson. That is true. It was abysmal. The penalty kill was the penalty kill, but the power play was terrible. It was I understand people call certain players glue guys, people said that about Shen, people said that about Kuzmenko. Is Pettersson a glue guy and also being one of our best players? Because that's a lot of responsibility for a guy who's not captain. Also, there was a question earlier about... We're not tanking. Get over it. There's a question earlier about who I think should be captain once Horvat leaves. Shen or Pettersson. I say Pettersson for the longevity of this franchise. I understand the Sedins handpicked Horvat, but I understand they would probably also be fine with, at least Pettersson. Anyway, that's how I'm going to end the stream tonight. Reminder again, like, comment, hit that subscribe button. Follow STPN Sports on Twitter. Rate and review if you're listening to this on a podcast platform. And yeah, you can find me at RealKayame on Twitter. And yeah, everyone, have a great rest of your night. Have a great day. I understand some of you are probably listening to this during a day. So hopefully you're having a great day, whatever day it is. And I will see ya. Sam is back on Monday. I think she's also doing the 22nd game, and then I'm back on the 23rd. So I will see you again in almost a week. Good night, everyone. And may the Force be with you. Because that Star Wars is fun. Alright, good night.
Game over! Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.